Hey Highland families, it's good to see you today. My name is Suzette Annette, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm the children's minister here at Highland. And we are sitting in the His Kids worship room, and it is one of my favorite spaces in this whole building. It's a place where we invite God to join us, and we are confident that God is inviting us to join Him during this time we're together. Usually this room is a little dark and it looks a little different, but we're going to hear the word of the Lord together today. So let's begin how we always begin. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Let's hear the word of the Lord together today. We're in the New Testament, and our story today is from the book of Luke in chapter 19, and it's right here in purple. So let's get ready to hear God's word together. So let's see. I wonder where we might be going today in God's word. Think about what we are saying when we put the purple on the floor. What are we saying? What does the purple remind us of? It reminds us of the mystery of Jesus. So let's see what story we're going to hear. We're in the middle of Lent, and it means that we're on the way to Jerusalem, but we need to know who is going to show us the way. Who's going to show us the way to Jerusalem? I wonder, do you know who's going to show us the way to Jerusalem? It's Jesus. Jesus is going to show us the way to Jerusalem. So as Jesus is on his way, he stops in a town called Jericho. He has to go through Jericho to get to Jerusalem. So Jesus is on the way, and the crowds have heard that he's coming. Jesus is coming. Jesus is coming. We better go see him. Let's go to the road. So my Bible says that people gathered all along the road to see Jesus. They were waiting. I imagine that they were on both sides of the road, not just one side of the road, because they had heard, he's coming, he's coming. Let's go see him. So we're going to line our road to Jericho with people. What would it be like to be waiting for Jesus? Waiting to hear his footsteps? Waiting to hear the cries of the crowd as he comes? Well, in this crowd, there was one man, and his name was Zacchaeus. And Zacchaeus, my Bible says, could not see Jesus. He heard him coming. He heard the people saying, Jesus, Jesus, but he couldn't see. My Bible says that he was too short. He couldn't see. And so he was trying to get through the crowd. I want to see Jesus. I want to see Jesus. But the crowd wouldn't let him through. He was persistent, though, and he kept trying. Jesus, I want to see Jesus. But he couldn't get through the crowd. But Zacchaeus wasn't finished. He was determined he was going to see Jesus. So my Bible says that Zacchaeus found a way. I wonder, what do you think this is all rolled up? Let's see. I bet some of you have already guessed. Can you tell yet what it's going to be? Let's keep looking. I think it might be a tree. So my Bible says that Zacchaeus was determined that he was going to find a way through the crowd. And so he climbed up the tree. He climbed up the tree. And when he got to the top of the tree, listen to what happened. When Jesus came to the place where the tree was, he said to him, "Zacchaeus, hurry and come down. I must stay at your house today." Can you imagine what Zacchaeus was thinking? Jesus knew his name. He said, "Zacchaeus, come down. I must stay at your house today." I wonder, what did Zacchaeus and Jesus do then? Well, my Bible says that Zacchaeus took Jesus to his house. Can you imagine Jesus coming to your house today? What would that feel like? I wonder, how would you feel? What would you be thinking if Jesus said, "I'm coming to your house today"? Well, let me tell you what the people did. They started saying to each other, "Oh my goodness, he is going to Zacchaeus' house. Can you believe it? Zacchaeus is not a good man." Because Zacchaeus was a tax collector. And a tax collector is someone who worked for the government and he took people's money. And Zacchaeus sometimes took too much money. And so Zacchaeus, the people were saying, they were complaining, "Look at the kind of man Jesus stays with. Zacchaeus is a sinner. Jesus shouldn't stay with him." But listen to what Zacchaeus said when he heard what the people were saying. He told Jesus, he said, "Lord, I will give half of everything I have to the poor." So let's see what Zacchaeus has. Sometimes tax collectors carried their money in a sack, just like this one. So let's see what Zacchaeus said. He said, "Lord, I will give half of everything that I have to the poor." Zacchaeus' heart was changing. So let's see. How much is Zacchaeus going to give to the poor? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if Zacchaeus had 20 coins, he told Jesus, "I will give 10 of those to the poor." I will do that. But Zacchaeus wasn't finished. He also said this. He said, "Jesus, if I have cheated anyone, I will pay them back 4 times more than what I took from them." 4 times more than what I took. So let's see what Jesus says to Zacchaeus. He says, "Salvation has come to this house today. This man truly belongs to the family of Abraham. The Son of Man came to find lost people and save them." I wonder, what do you think about this story? What do you wonder about this story? I wonder what Jesus was thinking when he saw that there was a man up in a tree waiting to see him. I wonder, what do you think Jesus was thinking when that happened? I wonder what Zacchaeus was thinking when Jesus said, "Zacchaeus, come down from that tree." What would it be like to hear Jesus call your name like he did Zacchaeus' name? And I wonder how all the people who were watching and listening to what Jesus was saying and doing, I wonder, what were they thinking? Did how Jesus acted toward Zacchaeus change them? I wonder, did it change them? I wonder, did they go away wanting to do good like Zacchaeus had changed his life to do? Or did they go away grumbling? I wonder. I wonder why this story is important. I wonder why we need to hear this story today. We've heard the word of the Lord. And so this week, I want you and your family to read this story. It's in Luke chapter 19, verses 1 through 10. So read this story every day this week and ask those questions. I wonder, what does God want us to know from this story? What do we need to learn from Zacchaeus and Jesus? I wonder what we need to do. It's a little bit different right now because we don't get to be together on Sunday mornings for a while. And so today, I want to remind you to do some things in your family. The first thing I want us to do is I want us to learn a verse that we can remember. So this week, our remember verse is from Mark chapter 12, verses 29 through 31. So let's look in our Bibles and see. Mark is in the New Testament. It's right before the book of Luke. So I'm going to turn to Mark chapter 12, and we're going to say this verse together. Okay. Here we go. You say these words after me. Love the Lord your God. Love him with all your heart. Love him with all your soul, all your mind, and all your strength. And love your neighbor as you love yourself. These are the most important commands. Sometimes it helps me if I have emotion to go with a verse. So let's say it again. We can read it just like I read it, and you can read that with your mom and dad and your brothers and sisters. But let's say it like this. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and all your strength. And love your neighbor as you love yourself. These are the greatest commands. So work on that verse this week. There are lots of fun ways you can do that. You can write it down. You can play a game. You can make a song out of it. I bet you guys could make a song out of it. So, and here's something else you can do this week. I put on here a family challenge. A lot of our families, we're going to be together in our houses a lot of hours every day. And so let's think of some things that we can do for other people, even though we're in our houses and can't go to school, and some of us aren't going to be going to work. So let's see. I'm going to ask this question. It was a question that Zacchaeus was asking himself. How can I serve my neighbor? So think about that. How can you serve your neighbor if you're at home this week? What can you do? I wonder, how will you serve your neighbor this week? So, but that's not all. A lot of you guys know that we like to pray in color. We call it God's Word in color or praying in color. And so I made, just for this time, when we are at home and not at church together, I made a journal. It's just a notebook, something that I had, and it says Suzetta's Praying in Color Journal. So I want to ask you if you'll keep a journal with me, that we can do it together. We're apart, but we can do it together. And so I started my journal like this. I put a heart, God's heart, because Jesus is calling us to see God's heart. So God is in the center. And then I asked, who's my neighbor? I wonder, who's my neighbor? I wonder. So then, let's think of some other things that we can wonder. I wish that you could tell me what you're thinking right now, because I know you would have some good ideas. So, but I'm going to put some words around God's heart and around thinking about how I can help take care of my neighbor. I am going to write some words. I miss my friends. Some of us haven't gotten to see our friends this week. God is with us, even when we miss our friends. Let's see, what else could we write? I'm going to take a different color, and I wonder, when will I get to go back to school? So that's another wonder. God, the heart of God is with us, even if we're wondering when we get to go back to school. So think about how you could add some words to this. And so next time we're together, you know what? If you do this, why don't you have your mom and dad send me a picture of how you're praying in color, and so we can do it together. Have them text it to me or send it to me in an email, and we'll keep a journal together, a praying in color journal together. I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you for being in the Word, and we're going to be on the journey to Jerusalem for the next few weeks together.